Well, hello out there in TV land. Welcome to Community Media Medford. It's 3:15 on October 16th. Tonight I will be speaking at the School Committee of Medford up in Alden Chambers. And we're going to talk about the open meeting law violation. But what is tragic, what happened yesterday at the high school in Medford, where they should never have put our public access station, but they never wanted to have a public access station. What Muccini Burke did with McGlynn, they took the public access monies, let's just approximate it at 200 grand, and they spent it on the government channel and the educational channel. So your cable TV franchise fee has been 100% hijacked by City Hall. City Hall is the issuing authority, and now they are in charge. They have this obnoxious child, Ben Brown, who accused me yesterday of keeping people away from the meeting. The two-hour window, it was totally Ben Brown's fault, and you know it came from City Hall. So there's two very bad elements that transpired yesterday. Number one, well, three when you consider that Ben Brown lied to me twice. But they have this event, and it was for the insiders. Ben Brown did not do outreach. The community did not know about this open house. Very, very close. I just asked neighbors, and they were like, Anthony D'Antonio didn't even know. I announced it a couple of weeks ago at the school committee. But neighbors of mine did not know about this open house. It's not an open house. And then Ben Brown had the audacity to blame me, saying that the guy doing outreach, the guy doing the real outreach, and there were people there because of me. Because of me. This child that Muccini Burke hired blamed me for his unethical way of putting this open house together. $67,500 we're paying this child. This obnoxious, insufferable child. He lied to me yesterday about my own TV show. I gave him copies of this around September 7th. I looked at him and said, you played Westford and Arlington, but you won't play me. He goes, well, that was before the producer agreement. Wrong answer. Producer agreement he sent out to me. Probably no one else in the community. I'm the only guy even getting a producer agreement. Shows you his facilitation of programming and outreach. They don't reach out to anyone. Muccini Burke wants this as her private sandbox. So September 14th, we get this rancid September 14th, this awful production agreement, 5 pages. You've never seen anything like it anywhere in the Commonwealth with Access TV. Not that I've seen. I've only been doing this since 1979, Chrissy Frazier. Chrissy. So I walk in. Chrissy doesn't say hi to me. Ben Brown doesn't say hi to me. They don't want us there. You got it, people? They do not want us there. It's censorship. So I went outside in the parking lot and I was doing my censorship, my First Amendment right to do censorship. So I'm filing all his complaints. And what does Chrissy Frazier do? She walks out with the nice security guard as if, oh, I got to stay away from the guy that we're banning. We'll have to accuse him of something. And as I said to Paul Garrity and Ben Brown, I'm uncomfortable here. This senior citizen is uncomfortable because all Medford TV3 did was false accusations. Now, sitting there with Ben Brown was the sleazy Dr. Rabies, Arthur Allen DeLuca. The guy who Elder Affairs had to come by his house because he allegedly was abusing his mother, using the F word on her allegedly, and there's a witness. Okay? So they got this sleazy elder abuser, Arthur Allen DeLuca, who lies to the community about TV3 Medford, under investigation by the Attorney General's Office, Public Charities Division, and Steve Bertarelli, another reprobate from TV3. This is what attended the party. Now, you do the math. Do you think anyone in this community wants to be around Arthur DeLuca and Steve Bertarelli after what they did to this community with Dirty Talk Live and other disgusting things that were not public access. They were perpetrated on the community by the staff, and they lied about it at TV3. They said it was the community when it was the staff taking our money, abusing our money, and now we get the same situation with a dirty, filthy state rep and a dirty, filthy mayor laughing at State Rep Donato grabbing Michael Marks by the family jewels. You got the drift, people? A sexual assault at the high school yesterday in front of children and in front of the intern from the high school, a high school student behind the camera. And you got State Rep Paul Donato grabbing Michael Marks by the you-know-what. His hand venturing into the twilight zone. Let that sink in. Mrs. Burke laughed. Watch the film Disclosure, then go watch the film City Hall. Both based on true stories. Michael Crichton wrote Disclosure about a woman in power being just as abusive as a man. Demi Moore. And she sexually assaults Michael Douglas, and he files a complaint. It's a true story. This is a dramatization of a true story. They call the company Digicom. Figure out which company it might have been that Michael Crichton based the book on. So, the attorney for Demi Moore, who did the dirty deed, but he had a point about Michael Douglas, because the boys in the shop talk about how cute Demi Moore was and how Michael Douglas had dated her, and all sorts of sexual stuff is flying. And Michael Douglas laughs. One of the boys. And then he files the charges of sexual assault. He was sexually assaulted. It was an abuse of power. The point is, Stephanie Muccini Burke, instead of chastising her old friend Paul Donato, instead of saying, not in this station around the kids, Stephanie Burke laughed at Paul Donato performing a little sexual assault joke on Michael Marks. Now, it wasn't the first time. Allegedly, at the VFW a couple of weeks ago, Mr. Donato allegedly grabbed Michael Marks' ass. Now, why would he be so extra friendly with Michael Marks when November 3rd, 2015, if memory serves, Donato was accused of harassing Michael Marks with, like, this condescending, oh, you voted for the wrong side, meaning Bob Penta. Mr. Donato isn't stupid, not by a stretch. There's so much information on the stolen election of 2015, it's just, it's disgusting. Muccini Burke was not duly elected. She was at the Panda friggin' Palace, which is small, just like she started her campaign in a small room. Bob Penta's at Anthony's twice, packed room. VFW's packed with people upset because she stole the election. You got Rick Caraviello harassing me 2 months before he files false charges on me, in which he lost a year later in criminal court. So you had Caraviello in criminal court. George Scarpelli's a double defendant. You know, that little problem with Galileo Mondal, where they accused Galileo of a rape he didn't commit. And now Galileo is striking back and suing Scarpelli and others. Scarpelli's running for city council again. This individual has no shame. He has no shame because, innocent or guilty, he was there, he admitted he was there, and these chaperones, it happened on their watch. No personal responsibility from Scarpelli. Now, his bosom buddy, John Falco, very popular in the city of Medford. I don't know why, because he does nothing. You know, John Falco could be more constructive, and yeah, I'm being funny, but I'm not. He could write stuff on his bald head, and he would get the point across better than his yes votes for Mayor Stephanie Burke. So there's my advice to you, John Falco. Take a magic marker and write on your bald head, fix the streets, and you'll do more for Medford. Free public access. Write it on your bald pate, Mr. John Falco, and do the citizens a favor with the 30 grand we're burning by giving it to you. Just shut the friggin' council down. It's useless. You know, I was just talking to someone out there right near Salem Street, and they said, that Adam Knight, I can't stand him. He was okay when he first got in, but like he got like sucked in by Camuso. I'm paraphrasing. But a neighbor just saying, this Adam Knight, I concur. Oh, this is what we're stuck with. Yeah, I'm in the middle of opening a new storefront, and I've got too much to do, and this is a waste of my time. But it's not a waste of my time. So I wanted to run for mayor, but opening the storefront is a bigger priority. Because once a week I pick up a lot of vinyl records, and I have a lot of vinyl records. I want to open something kind of like bestsellers, only with vinyl and books. And so we're talking to people. I have my partners. We're talking, and this would be so much fun for Medford to have all this vinyl, walls of vinyl, and I can get my hands on tons of vinyl, even if I don't have it, because I know dealers. And they'd be more than happy to, you know, in consignment. On consignment, we could have walls of vinyl and books. That is not a problem. I've been doing this my whole life. There's so much I can offer the city of Medford, and they won't allow me because I'm not in the Insiders Club. I want Medford to move forward. They want Medford to move backwards because it's all about the green. That's what it's about for Muchini Burke and her husband and her family and all the people on her gravy train. Now Ben Brown and Chrissy Fraser on the gravy train. But Jenna Terabelsi was convicted of rape. Friday the 13th, Jenna Terabelsi was convicted of rape. And 2 days later, Paul Donato grabs Michael Marks in the sweet spot, right there in the outer limits. Wake up, Medford. What are you thinking? All right, 12 minutes. I would go on for 30 minutes, but I'll speak at the city council. And I got a lot more to say. This is just the beginning. Stay tuned. Community Media Medford. And go to medfordinformationcentral.com. That's where you get the only news in Medford. More soon.